What is up, my mates of YouTube? My name is Aussie Marcel, and in today's video we're going to be looking at a Middle Eastern fragrance I've never smelled before. Rare Carbon by Afnan. I've been getting a lot of messages, a lot of comments, a lot of requests that I cover more Middle Eastern fragrances on this channel, so I'm listening to you guys. I picked one up that seemed to be good, and then I'm going to be comparing this to some similar fragrances. So, if that sounds good to you, let's get into the video. Rare Carbon by Afnan. Straight away, the packaging and presentation is pretty high quality, I've got to say. It's got some embossing on the packaging. It looks very classy. This is an eau de parfum, 100ml or 3.4 fluid ounces, and you get the little quality sticker on the side there. I've already taken the cellophane off this because just editing the footage of me taking off the cellophane every single time, it's just such an unnecessary thing I have to edit out. So I did it beforehand. And inside the box, we have a bottle that looks surprisingly like Azaro Most Wanted, that sort of similar revolver cylinder style out of the bottle. You do get quite a bit of that fragrance. You get a touch of leather, and you can sort of tell that this is a Middle Eastern style fragrance just because of how strong it is. The Middle East is well known for producing fragrances that are both high quality, affordable, and also strong, potent, pungent even, some people may refer to them as. The cool thing about these Middle Eastern fragrances is that these brands are willing to experiment in a way that you just don't find in the Western market. So Rare Carbon, for instance, you get that leatherish quality up top, but you also get some aromatics, and it's an interesting combination, and you just wouldn't see that in the Western market. Velvet Oud, for example. Smoky, leather, a touch of fruit, and also some of that woody, oudy stink here. And it's not unpleasant either. I love these fragrances because they give you a different style of perfumery, and they're willing to do things that they simply will not do in the West. In the West, it's all about mass appealing. It's all about trying to get the most eyes on your product as possible, or most noses on your product as possible, I guess. But in the Middle East, they've got different tastes over there, and they're willing to use aroma chemicals and ingredients that stand out, that capture your attention. So when I compare these two fragrances in a little bit, you'll get a better idea of the sort of style of fragrances that they're doing in the Middle East. I'm looking forward to testing out and comparing Rare Carbon to Velvet Oud by Latifa, and also to the OG Tom Ford Ombre Leather. And this is a better example of a Western leather fragrance. And we're going to be comparing it to two leather fragrances here that are of Middle Eastern descent. Okay, let's try Rare Carbon. I love the atomizer on this one. It's kind of like a cloud rather than like a jet. Super strong leather note up top. Hint of florals. Hint of something powdery like a violet or an iris, something like that. It's quite a unique smelling fragrance, but I love the way the leather is presented here. It's quite strong. A little harsh, a little screechy, but not overly so. Now let's try Velvet Oud again. For all of those of you that want me to try more Middle Eastern fragrances, you're getting two here, so that's a good place to start, I think. Atomizer isn't great. Strong oud up front. Get that woodiness, that depth that you only really get with Middle Eastern ouds. Leather, not a whole lot else, just woody oud. A little bit of that oud stink, but in a good way. And then the leather. It's a very strong fragrance. Less subtle than Rare Carbon. I still like it though. And you've got to admire the way that they present their fragrances. Look at that. Just such a beautiful design here. And Tom Ford's Ombre Leather. I'm already very familiar with this as it's my favorite fragrance, but strong notes of leather, a little bit of that fruity sweetness, Just a beautiful presentation. It's balanced. That's the thing with Tom Ford's leather fragrances. They're so balanced. You do get like a strong note of leather here, like an expensive leather handbag, which is kind of ironic coming from a vegan. But it's just a beautiful presentation of leather. It features it so well. There's not a whole lot else to it. This is a fragrance that puts the leather up front and goes, here, this is how we want to present a leather fragrance to you. It's strong, it's subtle at the same time. It's just very classy, very dynamic, very dark. And then comparing that to Rare Carbon. Some of that leather in the Rare Carbon has actually died off a little bit. It's still a leathery fragrance, but some of the aromatics, some of that iris, some of the violet, whatever that powdery quality is, it actually reminds me of Prada L'Homme Intense a little bit. So I'm just gonna smell them side by side. This is Rare Carbon. Prada L'Homme Intense. Rare Carbon is obviously a leather fragrance, but there are some shared similarities here. Like if you wanted like a baby between Tom Ford's Ombre Leather and Prada L'Homme Intense, maybe Rare Carbon would be for you. It's just a little more floral than both of those scents. I don't know. Quite like it though, I've got to say. I don't imagine performance will be an issue here. Like it is still, I can smell it from over there. It is very strong. Kind of actually almost reminds me of Lagerfeld for him as well. Quite beautiful. Velvet Oud again. Oud, leather. Hard to compare. You can't really compare Rare Carbon and Velvet Oud. They're quite different fragrances. Like Rare Carbon is much more comparable to Ombre Leather. Of the three, I obviously prefer the balance in Tom Ford's Ombre Leather. It's such a beautiful, sophisticated, dark fragrance. But in saying that though, Rare Carbon is quite beautiful at the same time. If you're after a leather fragrance with some aromatics, some iris, something a little different, something unique in the realm of Middle Eastern leathery fragrances, definitely check this one out. It's worth the $75 to $80 that I paid for it. Or if you just want some classically Middle Eastern oud with the leather, Velvet Oud is going to be for you. This is very strong, very in your face. It's brash, it's youthful, it's dark. Yeah, I love this one as well. Anyways, if you've ever tried Velvet Oud or Rare Carbon or Tom Ford's Ombre Leather, let us know in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Let us know your thoughts on Rare Carbon from Afnan. What are your experiences with Afnan as well? And until the next video, my name is Aussie Marcel, and I'll catch you guys around.